In this module, we're talking about the relationships between the three major temperature scales. And those scales are Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin. Okay, so this illustration shows the 2 points of reference on each scale. The freezing point of water, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, and 273.15 Kelvin. Notice that we say degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit, but we just say Kelvin. There's no degrees Kelvin. That's how we do it. And the boiling point of water, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius, and 373.15 Kelvin. Knowing these 2 points on all three scales lets us derive a relationship between the different scales. So notice first that there are, over the same range of temperature, freezing point of water to the boiling point of water, there are 180 degrees Fahrenheit, there are 100 degrees Celsius, and 100 Kelvins. So that means there are more degrees Fahrenheit in the same range than there are Celsius or Kelvin, which means that the size of a degrees Fahrenheit is smaller than the size of a degree Celsius or the size of a Kelvin. The size of a degree Celsius and the size of a Kelvin are the same. There's one other factor we should look at though here, and that is that they're shifted, okay? The freezing point of water, if we take that as the reference, being 0 degrees Celsius, we have to add 32 degrees Fahrenheit to get the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. We have to add to that 0 Celsius, we have to add 273.15 Kelvin. So taking those into account, we can derive a mathematical relationship between these 6 scales. So we know that there are 180 degrees Fahrenheit for every 100 degrees Celsius, which reduces to 9 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 degrees Celsius, and the kelvins in degrees Celsius are the same. Which means that if we want to convert degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to have to multiply the temperature in degrees Celsius by 9/5, or we could also write this as 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit per 1 or per degree Celsius. Now, these are exact numbers, definitions. These are exact numbers here. So we want to find degrees Fahrenheit. It's whatever the temperature is in degrees Celsius times 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit for every degree Celsius. But, notice, let's put a sample in. We know that water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and 32 degrees Fahrenheit. If we put a 0 here, we just get 0. That's not right. Remember, we have to shift it, so we have to add 32 degrees Fahrenheit to that. And that's our relationship. We can write this more neatly as this. Where every number in here is exact. And if this is converting Celsius into Fahrenheit, we just take whatever the temperature is in degrees Celsius, replace it this with that number, multiply by 1.8, add 32, and that's our temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. We can, just to go the other way, we can just do a little bit of algebra, rearrange this. If we do this, we get degrees Celsius. This is going from, degrees Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. It's going to be degrees Fahrenheit minus 32 divided by 1.8. Again, these numbers are exact. So this is if you want to go from degrees Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. Going from between Celsius and Kelvin is even easier because the size of the scale is the same. You can say Kelvin is equal to degrees Celsius, but remember they're shifted by 273.15. So if the temperature is 0 in degrees Celsius, we have to add 273.15 to it, which is an exact number, to get the temperature in Kelvin. Going the other way, just reverse it, algebra. You should memorize, or if you don't want to memorize them, just remember how to derive them. It's quick. These.